hard to get tickets by name. But now that I know Megan.
Okay, Joe, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. It's 8:30 and I call to order our Economic Development Committee. May we please have the roll call, Amy?
Yes, Chair LaPlante,
Here.
Vice Chair Galassi. Here. Member Rutledge.
Here.
Member Covert,
Here.
Member Childress,
Yes.
and Member you.
Here.
Great. Do we need to do anything about letting them participate via Zoom?
Yes, I do
Okay.
have the language here. You'll
Okay.
just have to substitute it.
Okay. I call, let's see, a physical quorum of the members is physically present. I will entertain a motion to permit those members not physically present due to personal illness or disability, employment purposes, or for the business of the board or family or other emergency to participate by video or teleconference. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Wonderful, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Welcome, everyone. I move to approve the minutes, 24-0384, Economic Development Committee, the regular minutes from November 21st,
Second.
2023. Do I have a motion? In a
Make a
second.
motion.
Great, from Sadia, Member Covert. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Wonderful. For my remarks, well, it's a beautiful day here in DuPage County. I can't think of anything else I could ever wish for than 30 below and a sunny day in January. So thank you all for being here and thank you for zooming in. I know that there's a lot going on. My kids don't have school. School's canceled. People are sick. It's just wonderful. So we have a fantastic day. I'm very, very excited. I've invited Laura Kwan from Renew in Glen Ellen to give a presentation today. I love this store. First of all, it's a local business, woman-run, woman-owned, and it supports the migrant community who comes to DuPage County she will do a much better job of explaining it. So I'm gonna let her explain that part, but it really is a beautiful way to bring in newly arrived migrants and immigrants and teach them trades and get them settled in their new communities. And then as a bonus, they make the most amazing, amazing bags and all sorts of products. And I had a whole set that I meant to bring with me this morning to show, because that's where I get my bags, but I left them by the front door. But you've got to visit this store. Absolutely wonderful craftsmanship, totally unique. And they have this little patch that's sewn onto everything. Are you going to read that today? Do you have a picture of it while you read it?
I have a picture of like the graphic, but I can also show you in my bag.
Okay. And every time I read it, it brings a tear to my eye. I might try to quote it, but I might misquote it, so we'll wait for the presentation. But it's just an absolutely beautiful store and with very, very mission driven. And I really highly suggest, I think after you hear about the presentation, you're going to want to get there yourself. In terms of chairwoman remarks, I would also like to just say, when I'm reading and making motions, can we wait till the end to move and approve? Because we have to read them anyway. So I just really would like to just wait and get through it all. That's just something I would like to do for my committee. Yes.
I just have to say, that is a great idea, because when the students came to
Yeah.
observe Carrie's class and not class, to observe the meeting, and Carrie and I were there, I said, do you have any questions? And one of the girls raised her hand and said, why do you guys always interrupt each other?
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
I said, oh, we're trying to move things along.
no.
And she said, but it just seems so rude. And I thought, oh my gosh, I gotta bring that to the floor. and say
I
to
could
people.
not agree more, Member Cahill, which is why I'm going to do that. I can do that in my own committee. So that's what I ask everyone to do, is just wait. We have to read it no matter what. And so it just stops the crosstalk. So I agree wholeheartedly. Okay, thank you. Do we have any public comments today?
Do not.
Okay, moving on. Item number 10, budget transfers 24-0386. Move to approve transfer funds from account 5,2840-53806 software licenses to account 5,2840-51,000 benefit payments in the amount of $5,300 to provide funds to cover benefit payments, vacation and sick time payouts for specific employees for fiscal year 23.
Did you move?
I did move.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, that motion passes. Number 8, resolutions, FIR 0016-24. I move to approve acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, PY 24 State Supplemental Funds Intergovernmental Agreement number 24-071006, Company 5000, Accounting Unit 2840 for $65,165, Human Resources Department.
Second.
That's a tie. That's, I don't even know. You're gonna do the tie. What do you say?
Roll the dice.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We'll give it to Member Galassi. since
Okay,
we've already-
perfect.
Okay, wonderful. Any opposed? Okay, excuse me, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? That motion passes. Wonderful. And now for our presentation. Laura, we welcome you to the floor and I'm going to hand out some of these cards. I'll pass those that way and these this way. And welcome to Renew, Creating Hope for Refugee Women from Glen Ellen, Illinois. Take it away.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Laura Kim Kwan. I'm the Executive Director at Renew Project. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me today and for Chairwoman LaPlante for inviting me. So we are in downtown Glen Ellen. We're right on North Main Street, across the street, kind of like from Marcel's and Jane. So it's really easy to miss us, but our storefront is always beautiful. So please come visit us. Our studio, our office, our classes are all in the same spot. So if you come to visit us, you'll be able to meet some of the artisans. And if you come on a Friday, you can see the classes as well. So you can go to the next slide. So to understand why Renew Project came to be, oh, it looks like my slides got a little, sorry about that text, but you need to understand a little bit about the refugee crisis, and that's why we came to fruition in 2009. The refugee crisis is a worldwide crisis right now, and it refers to people who are displaced from their countries of origin due to 7 reasons as outlined by the UNHCR, which is the UN High Council for Refugees. But usually it's because of war, it's because of famine or unrest in their country, but it always needs to be a threat on their life, which is why they're fleeing. So a refugee, a migrant, an asylum seeker, there are 3 different categories of displaced people. So you had mentioned
Yes,
a migrant. So
sorry
it's a
about
big,
that.
oh no, it's fine. It's a big issue right now in Chicago because thousands of migrants are coming through. A refugee is different from a migrant because a refugee already has legal status before being resettled in another country. So Renew Project hires only refugees or asylum seekers, which is another legal status. Migrants do not have legal status, but they're fleeing for the same reasons. They can come to classes at Renew, but we cannot hire them until they have some sort of legal status. Just to clarify.
Yes, thank you very much for clarifying that. I'm half NyQuil and that just.
No worries. No worries.
Got
It is
confused.
very confusing
Yeah.
if you don't work with these
Right.
populations to know the difference. But just so we're clear with Renew, we welcome the migrants to our classes, which are completely free. But if they want to be hired as an artisan, they do need to have a refugee or asylum seeking status.
Quick question, Laura, is that a designation given to them by their home original
It's
country?
given to them by the UN. So
Okay.
when they flee their country and they usually need to go through the UN in a neighboring country like Turkey or wherever the largest hosting countries are, they register with the UNHCR. And then once they go through a very rigorous screening process, you know, they have to renew every year or 16 months, I think it is. Then they're put on a list to be resettled by the UNHCR. So agencies in locally like World Relief is the biggest one in our area, Catholic Relief Charities, they get a list of who is from the UNHCR to be resettled. So that's why you see, you know, possibly clumps of people from the same country being resettled at the same time. It's because that country's list of people came up to be resettled. They're all on a wait list right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, next slide, please. So there are approximately 100 million forcibly displaced people worldwide right now. This is a stat that is changing, as you can imagine, daily because of the war in Ukraine and other unrest in the world. But just approximately 100 million. Of those, 32.5 million are refugees and 4.9 are asylum seekers. So it is a lot of people. Less than 1% of that huge number is resettled annually in all the countries of the world. So that is just a minute number of people who are actually finding a new home and being taken care of out of camps or wherever they're waiting to be resettled. So many of the refugees who come to DuPage, as I mentioned, are coming to be resettled through World Relief or Catholic Relief Charities. I used to work for World Relief, so I know we're like kind of the biggest in the Chicagoland area. We have 3 offices. And then just to give you an example, in 2022, World Relief resettled 665 individuals, and about half are working age and the rest are children and women who have never worked before.
Such a small number.
Yeah,
I know.
mhm. Yeah, and they're one agency. I mean, the other Catholic Relief Charities, I think, has probably done about 200 that year. We're still waiting for 2023. You probably would know before me working for the county, but it's a very small percentage. Okay, so Renew, we were founded in 2009 by Rebecca Sandberg, who was born and raised in Wheaton. She had spent some time abroad in Africa and she came back to Wheaton with her family, and she just randomly met a refugee woman from Somalia. I think she was walking down the street to the grocery store and she stopped her and she's like, "Hey, where are you from?" And she just started talking to her. And through just becoming friends with this woman, she found out the 2 biggest needs that she had as a refugee woman specifically. And that was a safe community space where she could learn English. That was the first thing. And the second one was she needed a place where she could work to provide some money for her family. She had never worked before. She'd never had a job. But the thing that they bonded over was sewing. So they would sit together for hours at a time, talking about their lives and sewing things. And the woman from Somalia was a very gifted sewer, because that's, what they would do in their home life is they would sew, mend things. And so Rebecca saw an opportunity there and helped her sell the things that she was selling, or she was sewing. I think they started out doing little pocket squares maybe, and then it just kept evolving. And that's the origin story of Renew Project. So our mission is to create hope for refugee women here in the US, and specifically in DuPage County, by providing a vocational skill for them to learn, English education, community, and support for their next steps. So whenever you come to Renew, you'll see that the artisans are all really good friends. It quickly becomes a community of support. They've been through similar things. They're going through similar challenges right now. So finding that support in a women-only environment is really key, especially for the women who are coming from Muslim backgrounds, because their husbands usually would not allow them to have further education or work, but with women only, they're a little bit more comfortable. And then we want the refugee women who come to us to feel empowered to explore their dreams. A lot of them have left their dreams in the country they came from and are putting it all on their children, but we want to remind them that they too can pursue their dreams here despite all the obstacles in their way, and we want to support them and help them realize those dreams. It's the best thing when we see someone come in who has little to no experience, they can't speak English, but by the end of their time with us, there's a huge surge of confidence, they're speaking English well, and they go on to get another job, a full-time job, or go back to school, or, the other success stories. It's the best thing seeing that process happen. And they do stay with us for 3 years. So the ideal amount of time they would be with us is 3 years. And then towards the end of their time, we help them find a full-time job. Renew only hires for part-time. And then our vision for all of American communities, and especially here in DuPage, is that we would be able to welcome and love our refugee neighbors and join us in carrying their stories. So what Lynn was mentioning was we have a little, I'll show you later, but in all of our bags, either inside or outside, there's a little patch that says carry the story. And we truly believe that when you buy a Renew bag, they're made start to finish from the same artisan woman. So same refugee woman. So when you're carrying her bag, you're really carrying her ongoing story of perseverance and starting a new life here in the United States. by carrying her bag literally and also by the hands that have made the bag.
And can you say what it says? Can you read it?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's so beautiful.
I think I have a slide of it, but sorry, my bag is like a mess, but it's inside this pocket here. You can kind of see it here. And it says, carry the story, handmade in the USA by a woman who sought refuge here. So all of our
I
bags-
know, right? Every time I get to, I love it. It's very impactful. And it is, and you do feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it. And
Yeah.
you, when you're holding it in your hands and you're
Yes.
wearing it,
Yes.
it's very impactful.
Mhm. And by being local, as I said, if you come, you can actually meet the woman who made your bag as well. So this is just a nice flow chart of how students come through Renew. They're usually referred to us by their resettlement agency. So World Relief will say, oh, they're ending their resettlement period, which is 6 months. They need something further, which is, commonly referred to as wraparound service. So we are an agency that is post-resettlement. They come to us, they start with the classes, which are completely free, and as I mentioned, open to any woman who was not born in the United States. So they don't have to have a legal status, but they can come to the English and sewing classes, which are completely free. And then from that student pool, we identify who would be a good fit as an artisan. So once they have completed the classes, we can offer them employment with Renew, and then they would become an artisan, and they're the ones who create the bags. Next slide, please. So who we serve, as I said, they get referred to us by resettlement agencies or by word of mouth, and we only serve women. We are women-led, women-run. Our board does have 2 men, but all of our staff and volunteers are all women to create that safe space for women coming in. They also come with, I will just say as a side note, they also come with varying levels of trauma. So for some of them, seeing a man is not a safe thing. So we want to make sure that the environment is safe and that they feel comfortable. As I mentioned, for English and sewing, any woman who was not born in the United States qualifies. And then higher, they must have refugee or asylum seeker status. And then 8 to 10 last year, this was 8 last year, so I'm still working on, this is 2022 stats. I'm still working on 2023. But 8 to 10 countries were represented in our classes and artisans. 12 languages are spoken. And so these are the countries that are most represented right now. It's Burma, Myanmar, Iraq, Iran, Ukraine, Eritrea, Sudan, Congo, Afghanistan, and Venezuela. So if you also recognize those countries, those are where most of the migrants are coming from Venezuela, I figured. And then you can kind of in your mind connect where there's been global unrest right now, and that's why they're coming. Okay. Next slide. Yes.
Are you organized as a 501c3?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we are a complete 501c3. I think I put it in here, but 60% of our revenue is donations, is direct donations. And then the other 40% is revenue from the store, but that revenue only covers 42% of our artisan wages. So I have a big job for getting donations. So our programs, it's English as a second language classes, and that helps communication. And so a lot of the times the students come to us for English, but then they don't get hired by us. They go on to do something else. So they go back to school or they find a different job, but the English in our comfortable environment really helps them get a step for that.
Yes.
What percentage of your students are you able to offer a part-time job to?
That's a good question. Let's say last year we hired 4 artisans, and they were probably about 40 that came through, so 10%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not much.
And approximately, so you have a 3-year program for the artisan
Yes.
program?
Mhm.
So do you have about 12? Is that about how
I
many
have
artisans?
6 right now.
Oh,
I have
6,
6
okay.
hired. Yeah, and they're only part-time. So part of that, we want to expand that for sure. But part of it is that we don't have a large pool of students to hire. Sometimes they don't want to work. They just want to come to the classes and have the community, and then they leave us and do something else. Or they don't want to do sewing as a
Yeah,
vocation.
sure.
They do it because it's free and they come. And then our artisans, we want to make sure that they have a full-time job to go to. We don't just want to say like, oh, your 3 years is up, you gotta go.
Yeah.
But that's kind of been naturally happening more, but it's gonna be more a formalized program this year since I just hired last year an artisan coach who is really like a job coach.
Yeah.
So she works one-on-one.
I'm just saying this is.
I'm
sorry, it was
like biting
we
my
will
tongue.
talk,
like,
yeah. I've got a lot to talk
Yeah.
about after this, yeah, sorry, we're
No,
already
no
thinking
worries.
10 steps ahead, aren't we?
Yeah, so they, so she works with them to identify what their next steps are, what they want to do, and then 3 goals. I think I have it 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months, what they want to achieve to, what they need to achieve to fulfill that goal. And then we graduate them and we bless them and they go on to their full-time job. But we never want to say, at least my philosophy is, I do not want to say you have to leave just because you're at your 3 years. If we haven't prepared them and they don't have a next step, I do not want to put them
Sure.
through that.
And are they
Excuse me,
typically
you know
going?
what, there's more questions that are asking and we've got to keep going. Can I have Member Covert? I know you have your hand raised.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to thank you for coming in for this wonderful presentation. Thank you for all the work that you guys do. I just wanted to understand something more clear that was said earlier. With the women who can't work, you said it's because they're Muslim that their husbands don't allow them to. Is it because of their faith or is it because of the country and the culture they come from?
Great question. We don't, even though we're a Christian organization, we don't proselytize and we don't really talk about their religious views unless they start the conversation. What they have mentioned is more cultural. I would say cultural. It could be religious too, but I can't speak to that. I can only speak to the cultural aspect of it and also the life they lived before in their home country, where the women typically stay home. They take care of the children, they take care of education and the home, and they're not working outside of the home. So because Renew would be considered an outside work or activity, the men usually have some reservations about that.
Okay.
If that helps.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Sure. Okay, so English is a second language. We have sewing classes. You can keep going. The job coaching I mentioned, and then case management, which is something we have expanded a lot more this past year because the artisans needed some help with making appointments and applying for, a lot of their children are starting to go to college actually. So college applications, and they were asking me and I just did not have the capacity to help them. So the job coach also helps with some case management and some of our other volunteers help with that too. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the employment, they sew the bags. Yep, I think I went over all that. You can go to the next slide. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. Okay. It's just a visual of, on the right is one of our English classes. So they are, can't see what's on the board, but they're learning something. And the left is the sewing class. So this is our space. Where they're having English is kind of like our lunch area, but that's also where we have some classes. Usually the classes for the students are in the back room, which is our storage room, our design room, and our classroom. So they each have a sewing machine and there are teachers going around teaching them. And then right after they have English in there. Okay, next. So these are some of our bags. We have a wide variety of different kinds of bags. Most of the fabrics are donated. So we get donations from fabric companies, from interior designers. We get fabulous fabrics, as you can see. The leather and hardware we do purchase, except for the vegan leather, that was a humongous donation as well.
Can I just say, when I went in and I did a tour with a women's group that I
Yeah.
founded, and we all came in and we got to see all the different textiles that have been donated, the fabrics, the belts, everything, and the workstations. And it is truly unbelievable. There's just bolts of fabric.
Yep.
And what's so cool is every single thing in the store is unique. So it's not like there's 5 of these. And then they also told me, just putting in a plug, that if you liked something, but you wanted it tweaked, you could actually say, can I have this bag, but in this fabric and in
Yep.
this color? So you can actually custom.
You can
Yeah.
customize your bag. It's
Yeah.
really fun. It's the purchase, you have to purchase the bag, whatever style it is, and then it's an extra $20 fee because you get an hour with the designer. So the designer will sit with you, well, not sit, you'll stand in the back and design. You get to go through all the fabric, all the materials, all the hardware, and then you customize the bag and it's done for you in about a week.
Yeah.
So it's
I mean,
really fun. It's really
That's-
fun. to
When
do
have you
that.
ever heard of anything
Right,
like
in a
that?
week.
And the quality is just off the charts.
Yep.
Yes. number
Sorry,
one.
I'm sorry if I'm taking up too much of your
Well,
time
we
here.
only have, yeah, just I want to make
so-
sure we get that.
As you're saying that, do you ever do like, you mentioned a women's group, like
Yeah.
a women's event? Like, do you host like women's
Yeah.
parties, like a birthday
Yeah.
We have
party to
something called,
design bags, like that kind
We
of
have
thing?
something called Party with a Purpose.
Okay.
So you can either have it be a shopping party and then we supply all of the goodies, so well, food or whatever beverages you want. I think the max we've done is 20 guests. So you can either do that as a shopping party or you can do a design a bag party. So, yep,
Isn't that cool?
That'd
totally.
be awesome.
I know.
Any,
Yeah.
pretty much
That's what we
anything
do.
you want to do, we can probably make happen.
Yeah. And they're very open and eager to do that
Yes,
too, which
we
was
are.
really
We
nice.
love
And
doing
very
things like that.
friendly and like walked us through the whole process. So it's very easy to get more information and
Right.
experience it too.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you for that.
Sure.
Okay, so here are just some impact numbers. This is also from 2022, but we serve over 40 women. It's about 40 women average every year. We've employed over 125, but that number has gone up since this stat. And served 225 women since our foundation. And 100% of our women always share that their English skills are much better after they go to their class. I don't know if they would ever say they're not, but of course, just, having conversation opportunities and learning the basics. We don't have any kind of curriculum we go through. We teach them lifestyle English, which is, we'll just get them through like learning how to go to the grocery store and talk to their children's teachers, things like that. So, okay, and next. So all of our residents live in DuPage County. We want them all to gain full-time employment after they leave Renew or take their steps to achieve their next dream. And that's all happening in DuPage County. Next. We are all, I think I already went over all of this,
Yeah.
but we're also active members of the Chamber of Commerce, Downtown Alliance, Chicago Fair Trade, and I'm joining the Rotary Club. So we're trying to get more involved in the community to connect and also to
So to point this out, this means that welcoming these refugees, offering these services has a positive impact on the economic development in DuPage County.
yes. Because as I
Let's just
mentioned,
make that really clear.
Yeah.
because 50%, like half of the people who are coming in are working age. So they are going to be working where they're living and they're all being resettled here. We have 20 to 25 volunteers. It's around 1,900 hours per year, which is about 58,900 in worker hours. And then we participate in community bolstering economy events such as Ladies Night Out, Glen Allen, and we also patronize local businesses. We try to keep it always, within DuPage for fundraisers and donor events. We have an accounting firm, our insurance, our printer, all in DuPage County. Yep, and then we provide vital support for refugee and asylum seekers beyond the initial resettlement period. So that's the 6 months, and then after, there's a post-resettlement period where they don't have access to these services anymore. So we kind of try to fill in the gap there. And then I also go to different, venues and groups to speak about what we're doing and a little bit about the refugee crisis, just because we believe that by educating our communities, it will open up opportunities for both sides, for the people living here are ready to participate and also for the refugees coming in. Okay, and so that's our tagline.
There it
And then
is.
Next. So these are just a few of the success stories. I won't read them all, but a lot of our artisans go on to gain full-time employment. A couple of them open their own businesses. One recently opened a restaurant with her sister, and one opened a flower shop. They have like side alterations businesses, things like that.
Is
So,
that the Burmese restaurant?
they're associated with that, but we're
Okay.
not. They are a resettled family through World Relief, though. I
Yeah.
remember them, but they have like some connection to Renew, but it was before I got there.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, and So this is kind of my goals for the coming year. I want to serve over 50 women. I'm going to add an additional weekday evening sewing class and conversational English gathering during the weeknights because some women can't come. They have, obligations during the day. I want to provide more vocational training opportunities and internships in product design, retail, our retail store, accessories and jewelry. These are actually earrings that we carry. Business operations, mobile sales, meaning pop-ups, and when we go to, markets, we need people to be trained in how to do that. For more partnerships for artisan jobs post-renew, which it sounds like maybe.
Yes, oh, yeah.
Seeking out.
You're
more
gonna be inundated.
Excited.
Some of the things I want to do in 2024, which does, affect the economy, of course, the local economy.
Yep.
And then I think that is all. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Laura. Now, I know we have a million questions. Some people had to leave to get to the next
Sure.
meeting, but will you please share, well, I have this, so is it okay that I share this PowerPoint? Is
Of
do I have
course.
your permission?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll send it to everyone. I'll send it to the whole board.
Yes.
And then we'll do, I promise you, we're good at disseminating this information and highlighting it. Lisa Shavat would love to talk to you. She was working at DuPage.
Yes.
So there's, I think, an opportunity for real growth and partnership here.
Mhm.
I think it's really obvious what you've started and what Renew is doing is so tangible, so real, so impactful, and providing fantastic service to everyone. I mean, have you guys seen my
For the small
cute?
business grants?
We were talking about that. We think they might be a little too big for the small business grant, but have you seen my cute little sling bag that looks like a cow? Did
I'll
you
pay
see that?
better attention. then.
Okay, now I noticed.
Can I just ask,
Yes.
what is the range of price for your bags?
So they are probably from like 130 up to 280. Like
Okay.
it just depends on the size.
My
Maybe
sling
300.
bag was 100.
Yeah.
So-
Do you have the smaller size belt bag?
No, it's the same as that.
So this,
Yeah.
I think.
Maybe it's one little bit
I
tiny
think it's
smaller.
120. I think this goes for
Okay.
120 because it's all leather.
Yeah.
The fabric ones I think are more like 115.
Okay.
So it's like a mid-range price and then it goes higher.
But really nice quality. Like, and, I was comparing it to like something at Nordstrom Rack for $100.
Yeah, sure.
Couldn't even compare.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you for coming. I have to get to the next meeting, but it was an amazing presentation and I am going to host a party, so.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to-
Invite us.
Please email me.
I will.
With information. I think I passed out my card and then you can go to our website or just email. It's really easy. It's LORA. That's how you spell my name at renewproject.org. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
Sure, you're welcome.
Coming.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm gonna put-
Okay, so, does anyone have any old business? Seeing none, does anyone have any new business? Seeing none, then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. That was cool. Thanks for